Okay, perfect. All right, I'll go ahead and get started now. All right, welcome everybody to the last yoga class for this summer. We are going to go ahead and get started here. We're going to start in a seated position. We're going to be sitting nice and tall. We're going to find our sit bones, so kind of rocking side to side. We're going to find that bony part in our butt. We want to plant those right into our mat. We're sitting nice and tall, extending our spine, thinking about extending the back of our neck. Shoulders are down and back. And then we let our eyes close. Beginning to center ourselves, preparing ourselves for this practice. Bringing our attention to the four corners of the room we're in. Noticing what the air feels like, the temperature, any noises that may be around us. Embracing those into our practice today. And narrow in your attention to the four corners of your mat. Feeling your body against your mat or the floor. Feeling the clothes on your body. Feeling the air and the temperature on your skin. And start to bring your attention inward. Noting any sensations in your body. Any areas that feel tense. Anything that needs a little bit more attention today during our practice. Think about an intention for our practice today. What we want to motivate us. What we want to drive us today. Maybe focusing on something that calms us, that relaxes us. Something that brings us release. And then we'll begin to think about our breath. Noticing how it moves in and out of our body. Thinking about whether we're breathing in and out through our nose or our mouth. And trying to change that breath to move in through our nose and to release through our mouth. Always knowing that you can choose another option if it feels more comfortable for you. Placing one hand on our chest and one hand on our belly. We think about our lungs in three portions, one at the top, one in the middle, and one down at the bottom. And as we breathe in, we fill in from the bottom to the middle to the top. And as we release, release from top to middle to bottom. Following this pattern with our breath here. Using nice, strong breaths. Filling those lungs, filling the belly. And on our next exhale, just letting our hands fall down towards the mat. Our next breath in, we inhale, our hands come up and around towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to plant our left hand on the mat. Right hand comes up and over. Keeping those sit bones planted into the mat, you can take that left hand and crawl it out a little bit further as we're comfortable. Keeping that chest nice and open, that arm comes up and around on top. Good, and if we feel our body's ready, we can bring our elbow down to the mat. We do want to make sure that we're keeping those hip bones planted, so adjust as you need to. Feeling a nice deep stretch through the right side. Inhale, we rise back up, and exhale, we move over to the right side. Crawling that hand out, keeping those sit bones planted onto the mat. Keeping that chest open. Crawling that arm out a little bit further, as far as we can go, feeling comfortable and keeping our hip bones planted. Continuing to breathe here. Inhale, we rise back up. And exhale, we're gonna bring our hands forward, keeping our back nice and flat, keeping our chest up. We reach those hands forward, just sitting right here in this position. If it's more comfortable, you can extend those legs out. Good, keeping that back nice and flat here. Good, and we take one big deep breath in, and exhale, we let ourselves fall forward, crawling those arms out in front of us. Good, we let our head meet down at the mat, or we can create two fists here and let our forehead rest on top of our hands. Holding here, breathing into this pose. And as we inhale, we roll up from the base of our spine, coming all the way up. If our legs are crossed here, what I want you to do is go ahead and uncross them and then cross them the opposite way. So whatever leg's closest, we're gonna switch that one. If your legs are straight out in front of you, just go ahead and let them stay right where they're at. Inhale, we take a big deep breath in, arms come up and around. Exhale, hands come forward, back stays nice and flat here. Chest stays up, we're reaching forward, long through that spine, long through the back of our neck. Continuing to think about our breathing here. We take a big deep breath in. As we exhale, we fall forward here. We let our whole upper body, our head and neck relax here. Inhale, we roll up from the base of our spine, the top. Shoulders come down and back. Good, if they're not already, we extend those feet out in front of us. We're gonna come into a straddle sit here, so we bring our feet out wide. Inhale, we sit up nice and tall. Exhale, once again, nice straight flat back. Our feet are flexed, our toes are pointing straight towards the ceiling. Calling out as far as we're comfortable and able to keep that back flat. So as soon as we find that rounding, we want to bring it up just a little bit. Big deep breath in. Exhale, we fall forward as far as we're comfortable, using our forearms to rest. We can again bring one hand on top of the other, resting our forehead on top. Or we can find ourselves all the way down to the floor. We do want to make sure that those toes are staying straight up towards the thigh here. And we let our head and neck relax. Inhale, we roll up from the base of our spine, getting up nice and tall. Good, we're gonna go ahead and swing our feet around. We're gonna meet in tabletop here, focusing on a nice flat back and making sure that we've got those fingertips spread nice and wide. Our wrists are below our shoulders. Our knees are beneath our hips. Our shoulders are down and back. And as we inhale, our belly goes low, our chin and our tailbone rise as we come into cow pose here. And exhale, we round that spine, we separate those shoulder blades, pushing against the ground, tucking that tailbone under. We come into cat. Good, following through rounds of cat-cow at your own pace. And on our next exhale, we come back into tabletop. Good, we curl our feet underneath, we plant those hands, keeping our fingertips spread nice and wide. Exhale, we lift back and up into downward facing dog. Fingertips are spread wide, we're pushing through the palms. We've got a slight bend in our elbows. Our shoulders are pushing down and back, our chest is reaching towards our knees, and our heels are reaching towards the floor. Breathing through this down dog. And we're welcome to alternate bending each of our knees, pushing our heels towards the floor, coming into walk the dog. Moving through vinyasa here, inhale, we shift forward into tall plank, or we can come into kneeling plank, keeping our back nice and flat. As we exhale, we lower either knees, chest, chin, or we can go chaturanga, and I'll show that the next round. Inhale, we either lift to baby cobra, just squeezing those shoulder blades back, or we extend up into upward facing dog, lifting onto the tops of our feet. And exhale, we roll back into downward facing dog. Good, moving through this. Continue with that breath. Inhale, we come into tall plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, we have knees, chest, chin, or we shift forward and lower chaturanga. Inhale, we lift up, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, we come back, downward facing dog. Continuing to move through this here. We come into plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, we lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, we're moving through 2 more rounds of this at our own pace, moving back into down dog. Mixing and matching as it feels good for you today. Moving with that breath. Good, and once we reach back into our down dog, you stay here for just a moment. You're welcome to walk out the dog again if you'd like to. And on our next inhale, our right foot's gonna come up towards the sky. We're gonna bend that knee and open up the hip here. Keeping that toe pointed. Inhale, we're gonna rotate back forward. We're gonna bring our gaze in between our hands. Exhale, we sweep our knee through, planting it on the ground here. Adjust it as you need to. We wanna make sure that our knee is not beyond our toes. And we're gonna open up that back foot, planting it on the ground here. Inhale, we come to a flat back, and we rise up into warrior one. Pushing that left hip forward. Arms are straight up. Shoulders are down and back. Our tailbone is tucked under. Sinking a little bit deeper, making sure that our knee is right in line with our toes here. We rotate our back foot open and exhale, we come into warrior two. We're pushing through the outer edge of both of our feet. We've got our tailbone tucked under, our front knee is straight in line with our toes. Shoulders are down and back. We're nice and tall here. Our gaze comes over our front middle finger. We sink a little bit deeper. Holding this warrior two here. Feeling that strength in our legs, in our shoulders. Inhale, we flip our front hand, we reach forward. Exhale, we come up and over. Reverse warrior. Right hand comes up and around. We sink a little deeper into that front foot, making sure that that knee is not caving in. Bringing our gaze towards the side if we'd like to. And exhale, we're going to cartwheel around. Straightening that front leg, we're going to come into extended triangle. Again, having that option to bring our gaze towards the ceiling. Our left hand's extended towards the sky. Our shoulders are down and back. Our left hip is pushing up and back. Exhale, we're going to bring our left hand down. We're going to frame our right foot. And then we're going to crawl our hands towards the front, keeping our feet nice and wide. Inhale, we're going to half lift. Exhale, we come all the way down, coming into a wide forward fold. Inhale, we lift halfway. And exhale, we're going to crawl our hands over to our left foot. We're going to rotate that foot so it's pointing forward in the direction of our head. Our back foot's going to come at about a 45-degree angle. We're going to bend through that front knee. Inhale, we lift halfway. We come all the way up into warrior one on the opposite side. Good. So check our alignment here. Right hip's pushing forward. Left knee is in line with the left toes. We're pushing through the outer edge of both feet. Shoulders are down and back. Tailbone is tucked under. Continuing to breathe here. We rotate, open that back foot, and exhale, we come forward into warrior two, pushing through the outer edge of both feet. Knees in line with our toes on the left side, hips tucked under, shoulders down and back. Our gaze comes over our front middle finger on the left side. Sinking a little deeper into that left leg. Using our strength here. Inhale, we flip that front hand. Exhale, we come up and over. Coming into reverse warrior, we sink a little deeper into that front foot. We make sure the knee stays over the ankle. We have the option to bring our gaze up towards the sky. In reverse warrior, we're looking towards potential and we're reaching for support. Finding that balance here. Inhale, we cartwheel those arms around, we straighten that front leg, we come into extended triangle. Our hand either meets our thigh or our shin, or the floor, just making sure that our hand is avoiding that knee joint area. Our chest is nice and open, we can bring our gaze up towards the side. Right hip is up and back. And our next exhale, we're going to plant our hands onto the mat. We're going to keep our legs straight here, but we're going to step in that back foot just slightly. We're sitting those hips back, feeling a good stretch through that left leg. Coming into a variation of pyramid here. Good, and as we did before, we're going to crawl our hands towards center. We're going to rotate our feet, and we're going to come to the opposite side and do pyramid on this side as well, too. So I have about 1.5 or 2 feet between my heel and back toe. I'm sitting my hips back, feeling a nice stretch through my right leg in the back. Good. If you can plant your hands, go ahead and do so. If not, we use these yoga fingers. We're up on the tips of our fingers here. Good. We'll go ahead and step our left foot forward. Meet our right. We're going to find a bend in our knees. Our back's nice and flat. Inhale, we're going to come right into chair. So we're bringing our knees together. Our big toes are going to meet. We're sitting back. We're making sure that our heels have most of the weight in them and that our knees stay behind our toes. We're welcome to bring our arms to heart center or down to the side too. Lots of options here. Good. For a little bit of an added challenge, we come up on our toes into a balancing chair. Exhale, we lower onto our heels. Inhale, we stand up. Exhale, our hands come down and around. We meet in mountain pose. Good. Finding stillness and stability here. We step our feet out a little bit wider. Good. Facing the long edge of our mat, we're going to come into moonflower and sunflower. We spread our feet nice and wide here, a little bit wider than hips width distance. Our toes are pointed forward, and as we inhale, our hands come up and around towards the sky. And as we exhale, what we're going to do is bring our hands down in towards our sides, our fingers spread nice and wide, and we're going to sink through our feet. We're going to come into moonflower first. A big thing with this is we want to make sure that we're pushing those hands back, pushing those shoulders down and back. And when we come into that spot, we're sitting those hips back behind us, our chest stays open. Good, moving with our breath here, feet wide. Exhale, we move down into moonflower. Inhale, we rise back up. Exhale, we lower, keeping our back engaged. Inhale, we rise back up. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we rise, and once more, keeping those shoulders down and back. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we rise. Next, we come to sunflower. As we exhale, we sink down, our hands come out and around, pinkies meet at the bottom. Inhale, arms open back up, shoulders stay down. Following our breath here. Feeling that strength in our legs, feeling that strength in our arms. Inhale, and exhale, bring our hands down. Then we're going to come into a forward fold. Our feet stay nice and wide, shoulders are down and back. Slight bend in the knees, we hinge from the hips. Exhale, we fall forward. If we're able to, we straighten those legs. You need to step those feet a little bit wider. Hips rise up towards the sky. Good. We'll go ahead and grab opposite elbows with our hands. We'll let our head hang and come into ragdoll. Swaying side to side gently. Good, and finding stillness here. We're going to go ahead and plant our hands on the mat. We're going to tuck our feet in just a little bit, still a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're going to turn our toes out slightly. We're going to start bending our knees, keeping them over our toes, and lowering our hips down, coming into a yogi squat. Good. Using our thighs, squeezing into our arms. You feel that in the back of your arms. And either using our hands for balance in the front, or if it's comfortable, bring them up to heart center into prayer. Feeling this deep stretch in our hips. Thinking about keeping that back nice and flat here. holding into the toes. And when you're ready, you plant our hands, pushing through our heels and using our hands to assist. We lift those hips back up to the sky. Heel toe those feet back towards each other. And let yourself come into a forward fold, coming all the way down. Good, for an added stretch, we can bring those hands back behind our calves, grabbing on to the base of our legs towards our ankles. Inhale, we come up for half fold or monkey. Nice flat back here. Exhale, we forward fold once more. Good. Coming into another restorative pose here. We're going to make our way into pigeon, so our hands are going to meet the floor. We're going to step back our left foot, coming into a nice runner's lunge here. Good. First, stretching out our front hip flexors. Getting a little bit of movement here, our hips pushed down and forward. Good. You're welcome to plant your back knee if that's more comfortable for you. Good. Bringing both of our hands inside our right foot. We plant that back knee. We've got our right leg outside of our shoulder, coming into lizard here. Hugging that right knee into our right arm. Hips sink forward and down, trying to keep that chest open here, shoulders down and back. Good. We go ahead and bring that right hand outside our right foot. We're going to sink it back behind us, pulling those toes towards us, feeling a stretch in the back of the right foot, or back into the right leg. Good, and then we switch back forward. Good, making our way into pigeon now. We're going to take that right leg and we're going to bring it in front of us. Our goal is to get it parallel to the front of the room in front of us. But until we're ready for that, go ahead and bend that knee a little bit deeper, flex those toes, and we scoot that left leg back. Good. So showing from another angle here. We come forward with our foot with as much bend as we need to feel comfortable. Left leg comes back. We want to try to keep our hips from falling over from one side or the other. So we want to try to keep those hips nice and level. Big thing is keeping that right foot flexed. Now a couple options here. We can either come up sitting nice and tall. We can stay propped up on our hands here, or we can bring our forearms down to the ground. And we can also let our head rest all the way down, finding what level of intensity we want today. And breathing through this restorative stretch. Might be a little bit of discomfort. If there's any pain, release out a little bit. Bring that left knee back in closer. Find more of a bend in that right leg. Shoulders are still down and back, trying to keep that chest open no matter where we're at. Maybe we let our eyes close for a few breaths here. Good. If we're not already, we're going to make our way up to our palms. We're going to curl our back toes under. And we're going to push ourselves back up into down dog. Good. Alternating, bending each of those knees, those feet, finding that difference in each side here after going through pigeon with our right leg forward. On our next inhale, our left leg comes up towards the sky. We bend that knee and we open up. Pointing the foot here. Inhale, we bring our gaze forward. Exhale, we sweep that knee through, coming into that runner's lunge. We're trying to keep that back nice and flat here. We have the option to bring our knee down if we'd like to. Hips push forward and down. Good, we plant that back knee. Our hands come inside that left leg and that left knee pushes into our shoulder. You can let that back foot, the top meet the mat, or if it's more comfortable, you're welcome to keep those toes curled under. You hug that right foot into the shoulder. Good, we bring our left hand outside our left foot. Exhale, we extend back, toes curl towards us. Coming into half monkey. Good, shoulders down and back. Good, inhale, we shift forward as we start to make our way into pigeon on the left side. That knee comes down. We find a comfortable angle in that left knee. Our left foot stays flexed. And we scoot back our right leg as far as comfortable. We have our options to stay extended at our hands, on our hands. We can sit up tall, or we're welcome to come down onto our forearms. Either way, again, making sure that our hips are not falling from one side to another. We want to try to keep them nice and square. My right leg is shooting straight back behind me. And I'm holding here in this restorative pose. Thinking about the intention for my practice today, coming back to my breath. Good, we're letting ourselves settle into this pose. Good, on our next inhale, if we're not already there, we meet with our hands on the mat. We curl our back toes under. Exhale, we lift our hips up and back, coming into down dog. Good, alternating, walk the dog, bending those knees, reaching those heels towards the mat. Good, and moving through 2 rounds of our vinyasa that we did at the start. Inhale, we shift forward. Exhale, we lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, we come up, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, we come back to down dog. One more time through. Inhale, kneeling plank or plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And on our last exhale, we're going to actually meet back into child's pose. Big toes meet. We're going to take our knees a little bit wider. Sinking our hips back on top of our heels as close as comfortable. And our chest melts down towards the mat. Our shoulder blades melt out towards the side. Our arms reach forward and we let our head and neck relax onto the mat. Coming back to our breath once more. We walk our fingertips over to the left side of our mat, pushing back through our left hip, finding a stretch through the right side here. Good, we crawl our fingertips over to the right side now, pushing back through our left hip, feeling a stretch in the left side. Inhale, we come back forward, resting back straight forward in child's pose once more. Inhale, we come into tabletop. Good, and exhale, we're going to bring it back, our hips back up to our heels, making our way into a seated position with either our legs crossed or legs extended in front of us. Good, coming into our seated side bends again, just as we did at the beginning. Noticing the difference here. Inhale, our hands come up towards the sky, and exhale, we fall over to the left side first. Good, maybe we're able to meet that elbow onto the mat. Making sure that both of our hip bones stay grounded into the mat, so adjusting as we need to. Maybe we bring that hand in slightly. Chest stays open. Inhale, we bring ourselves back up. Exhale, we come over to our right side. Hands scooch forward, or out to the side. Left hand comes up and over. We're making sure those sit bones stay planted onto the mat. Inhale, we rise back up. And once more, exhale, we come forward, nice flat back. Good. And this time we're actually going to come seated back up, and we're going to have our legs extended here. Inhale, we come flat back, coming forward, pulling those toes in towards us, feeling that stretch through the back of our legs and our hamstrings. Good, just a little stretch here, enough that we keep our back nice and flat. Inhale, big deep breath. Exhale, we fold forward. Letting our head and neck relax here. Inhale, we roll back up, sitting nice and tall. And then we're going to scoot ourselves forward. Our feet are towards the base of our mat. And exhale, we're going to come all the way down as we prepare for our final relaxation, Shavasana. Good. We bring our hands out towards our sides with our palms facing up towards the sky. We have our legs extended with our feet falling out towards the side. Or if it's more comfortable, we can bring our feet onto the mat with our knees up towards the sky. Another option, if you have tightness in your low back, we scoot those feet out towards the edges of our mat and let our knees fall in together. Good. Taking a position that's comfortable for you, whether it's something I mentioned or just something else that feels good for you. We tuck our shoulder blades under. And we start to let our body relax here. Coming through a full body scan, we start by relaxing our toes and our feet. Finding stillness here. We relax our ankles and our calves. We relax the muscles around our knees, our thighs, the quadricep muscles in the front, and the hamstring muscles in the back. We relax our hips. We relax our fingertips, letting our fingers curl in naturally. Relaxing our palms, our wrists. We relax our forearms, our upper arms, our bicep and tricep muscles. Relaxing our shoulders and our neck. We release the tension from our jaw, letting our tongue move away from the roof of our mouth. We relax our cheeks, our forehead, the space between our eyebrows, and all of the little muscles surrounding our eyes. We let our whole body relax, melting into the ground, into our mat. Letting our physical body just be. Letting our mind wander. Letting our breath flow naturally. Finding stillness in our day, in this moment. We begin to wake up our body by wiggling our fingers and our toes. Moving our arms and legs side to side, letting our head fall side to side. We plant our feet onto the mat if they're not already there, knees coming towards the sky. And we fall either to the left or the right side, coming into fetal position, knee over knee, palm over palm, using our hands as a pillow for our head, representing the new beginning after our practice today. And when we're ready, we use our hands to push ourselves back up into a seated position with either our legs crossed or extended straight out in front of us, whichever is more comfortable for you. We sit nice and tall. Inhale, we bring in one more big breath together, palms meeting at the top. Exhale, we lower those palms, stopping first at our forehead, reminding ourselves to think our best thoughts. Bringing our hands towards our lips, reminding ourselves to speak our best words. And then bringing our hands to heart center, reminding ourselves to live our best lives. I want to thank you all for joining me in this practice today. This will be our last class for the summer. We will have some stuff hopefully planned for the fall. Stay tuned for updates on that. Check social media and our website. We'll have everything posted there. Group X won't start until the end of the month or early September, so look out for announcements before then. The light, and the strength in me shines through and acknowledges the love, the light, and the strength in you. Namaste. Thank you and have a great weekend.